Welcome to the AMAs, which of course we have a different name every time. And now because Mumbai is going to elections a few days Monday from the time I'm recording this, we are calling this the Mumbai Show. And of course, hopefully no Mumbai questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The first one comes from Akhil Chanana.
Akhil Chanana. It's a very musical name,
Yeah.
so I'll say it correctly. Akhil Chanana.
His question is, in the movie Animal,
Huh.
Ranbir Kapoor's character, before heading off to the war,
Hmm.
tells his wife, played by Rashmika Mandana,
We all know this
that
without seeing it.
that if he doesn't return, implying his possible death,
Hmm.
she should never remarry.
Hmm.
How do you feel about this request? If you are in his position and going to war, what would you say to your partner, Aisha?
कुछ भी बोल सकते हैं. Remember, you can say anything in these oral contracts. It makes no sense after some time. And they can pretend to honor it also, but life will change after a few years. What are you going to do? What I would say if I was going to war, and what she will say when I'm going to war, two different things. I will say, ki, don't marry, remember me or whatever. And she'll say, good riddance the moment it's over, and shut the door immediately and call her friends over for beer and biceps. This is a great show, by the way. Yeah. He smiles a lot, even more than me.
Yeah, and nods a lot.
Nods a lot, yeah. Now I think we're being bitchy. It's like how we say male models have no brains. Have you met John Abraham, double MBA? Yeah, so that disproves the theory. Yeah.
So what would you say? But
Me?
thing, yeah.
If I was going to war,
Ah,
for about 6 minutes when I was a young man, I thought of joining the army.
hmm,
6 to 7 minutes.
Hmm.
Then I started reading Churchill's books on World War II.
hmm,
And I started reading about all the strange things that happened in war.
hmm,
And I realized air condition in hot places impossible.
hmm.
Heaters in cold places impossible. Getting your own room until you become a seriously big officer impossible.
Hmm.
And on top of that, you have to look after your bed, look after your clothes, clean yourself, do everything. So I just thought it's not for me.
Hmm.
I don't mind the fact that I would have to fight when I'm angry for about 10 seconds. But after 10 seconds, I lose interest also. So I don't think I'd make a good soldier. Unless I do just button dabao. I'm one of those button dabao soldiers, I would be okay. You know, the ones that just go ping and then 3 cities away, there's 10 casualties. That may be.
And
But
but
it's
yeah,
not-
but you like
it's
the
not for me,
habit
Baba.
of waking up early. You could have.
No, I have the
Yeah.
discipline. Discipline is there, but
Yeah.
you can't just wake up early.
Ah.
See, waking up early is good for many professions, like pilot,
Pilot.
flying a plane, watchman,
Hmm.
you know, doorkeeper, gatekeeper. All that is all good.
Hmm.
So the why go? War is not for me, bro. I don't have the war gene. I don't think I want to hurt anyone.
Hmm.
I mean, I do want to hurt lots of people, but actually no.
Hmm.
So you can't go there full of bluster and say ah.
Yeah.
Nahin. One of those things would happen. So I would just tell my wife, ki, just don't sleep on the left side of the bed for some time at least.
And
Show some
take care of
respect.
the dogs.
Dogs, though, I'll have to tell the dogs not to manage. I'll have to have a serious conversation with the
Take them to
dogs.
the military as
Dog,
well.
yeah, better chance there for them. Yeah.
All right. The next one comes from Abhishek Shah. I'm watching IPL and looking at the advertisements. It seems all the creativity has gone lazy. Even the supposedly funny ones, Rupe, terrible in the brackets, cred makes no sense. And I wish I had never seen Vimal or other celebrity ads. What are your views compared with the 90s or 2000s? Thinking about all Pepsi and Coca-Cola ads, which were pretty
Yeah, I
much
think
nice.
he's right. 90s, 2000, we had former comedy going on.
Hmm.
See, people trying to make it more funny and stuff like that. But I'll tell you the problem I'm having with the advertising, watching IPL or even EPL or anything which is sporty,
Hmm.
is because in the middle of the sports thing, you don't want to break, firstly. Secondly, in cricket, as against any other sport, if it's a Virat Kohli ad and he's just got out,
Hmm.
you start getting irritated. Because Virat has just failed for your team and you're angry.
Yeah.
Or Rohit Sharma, who's had a horrible IPL more or less,
Hmm.
except for 100. He's in many ads.
Hmm.
And then he's just out and then his ad comes. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, think this through, guys, before you as a broadcaster, what are you doing? The guy is just, all his fans are angry and now you're showing him and he's very happy and cocky in the ad
Adding
and
fuel to
funny.
the fire.
That one with Sunil Shetty and KL Rahul,
Hmm.
that was funny.
Hmm.
So I'll give them that much. But he's right. I think by and large, they're not so funny as it used to be.
Hmm.
Maybe the copywriters of that time, their children decided to become MBAs or dentists or doctors.
Hmm.
So, the next generation has not done justice.
Not
But also there are more people interfering.
Hmm.
There were enough people interfering in 90s. Now there are more people interfering. So if credit is trying to make an ad, there are 11,000 people that they have to go through.
Oh.
You know-
Yeah, for approval,
Yeah.
feedbacks.
Yeah, so all that. There's just too many people.
Hmm.
They should allow one person to be like the boss. That's what I want to do here in IVM.
Hmm.
Just take control. Be like a fascist leader.
Hmm.
Make all the decisions.
Oh.
All the power will be mine. And then you will see a show will become as funny as beer and biceps. Not that funny, but somewhat.
We are mentioning him quite a lot.
I mentioned him a lot. He keeps coming on my feed, Baba.
Oh.
And things I like his guests. I say, oh God, he's got this one, he's got that one.
Hmm.
He had an MMA fighter the other day. He's got all kinds of interesting guests, yeah. He's got this one historian I like also. So I don't mention names and give them more bhav, but it's not fair. And what guests do we have?
Yeah.
You tell me. Show your face, Rishi.
Okay. The next one comes from Aniket Paul. Naming a pet is one of the difficult steps of the journey of owning a pet. However, I have figured it out and want to name my pet Chimp Possible so that he can be called Chimp Possible.
Impossible.
But I need your help in another step. Being an animal lover, can you please provide me any leads on how I can own a pet chimp?
But I don't like the word own a pet, yaar.
Hmm.
You can own a child,
Oh.
because they are bloody irritating. But why do you have to own a pet? It's just cohabit. It's like, for me, it's all about the pack. We are like descendants of wolves and we live in a tribe together and we are one pack. It's sort of, there's equity for everyone in that. Some have more, some have less. But it's not like own. This own thing, I think, it starts with that. Problem is living in human society. That's why we clean up the potty and all that. You have to follow these rules. I would love to live outside human society for some time with animals. So I think that would be great fun for those who are, doggy ko pakar, cat ko pakar, pigeon. My wife has started this anti-pigeon campaign. I'm going to divorce her, man. What have pigeons done?
They're harmful as well, no?
Who says they're harmful? Everybody's harmful. Human beings are harmful.
Just everywhere.
What about the people in Valkesh who throw all their garbage out of the window? They are not harmful. Why are you blaming the pigeons? Don't touch my pigeons. Leave them alone. The pigeons are beautiful.
And yeah, the people should look out, no, when they're throwing things out of the window.
They don't. I can only speak for South Bombay, but there's so many buildings which are upmarket, upscale, millionaires, billionaires, all living in these buildings, and yet you have a trail. You'll know where the kitchen is. You'll know the kitchen ka floor structure immediately where the design of the kitchen is. With the same thing, there'll be stains. Roti, rice, chawal, this, that, and the other. I don't want to think what it is. I told you that famous story of how it fell on Kunal, no? We had gone to this place called Tirupati Apartments where his cousin lives, very upmarket, and he and my friend Parag like to smoke cigarettes. So they couldn't smoke in the cousin's house, so they had to go down. So I gave him company. I was standing down. We were very young at that point. And just standing in the shade, so slightly under the building, but slightly out of the building, we were just smoking. And then suddenly a roti hit him, fatak, on his head. And it become kadak by then because it's been, it's an old roti. It changes form a little bit. Becomes like a frisbee. That's how frisbees were formed, from chapati, basically. Yeah. So this is as upmarket building as you can get. It's very sad.
Similar thing happened with me. Like I was quite when I was young.
Yeah.
So I was going out with my parents to my uncle's house. So going to the bus stop. So just walking, and then a bucket full of water just fell on me.
From where?
From the buildings.
That's what?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and they don't even look out.
Yeah.
They just dump it, whatever happens.
Yeah.
But then don't forget, Mumbai is a city where posters can fall and kill people.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Sad, yeah.
really, always Mumbaikar, look up all the time.
Yeah.
And by look up, I don't mean metaphorically look up, ki life will get better. It won't. Look up for safety. That's all.
There should be that sequel to the Leonardo DiCaprio's movie. Don't look down. Don't look up. You should have look up.
Yeah. Or Up Yours also. Up Yours is another sequel. They can put that in. Depends on who comes to power.
Right. So, do you have any leads how he can own a pet chimp?
As in get
Yeah.
control of the life of a chimp.
Ah.
So that's not going to be easy because you have to get an animal license, a wild animal license and permission. If you can prove that you're looking after, it's very difficult but not impossible. If you can prove that you have a habitat to look after wild animals which are not allowed to be exploited commercially, etc., then maybe you can. But you could do it by moving to America, where it's much easier to be done. As long as you have money, there's no issues with permission. There are more tigers in America than in India. Pet tigers, apparently. They have like close to 20,000 tigers across the continent. People have just bought because the people like Michael Jackson who don't know what to do with their lives. After some time, you change your race 3 times and all that. What do you do? So he used to have tigers. He had Bubbles the chimp, very famose. Bubbles the chimp. Or in Marathi,
Mike Tyson had a tiger.
Mike Tyson had a tiger who slept in the bed with him. Yeah. Who he never molested. Not that he molested anybody. We don't know for a fact, I mean, that's what the courts say. We don't know.
I think he's fighting Jake Paul, no? Sooner.
He's fighting Jake Paul, but I don't like to use just like ownership of chimp. Just fighting Jake Paul, I don't know. This is a almost 60, 59-year-old Mike Tyson versus a 20-odd, under 30 Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Firstly, I just don't think that fight should happen. And secondly, even if he beats Jake Paul, what's in it? Who's Jake Paul? Yeah, an internet guy who can box a little against one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
It's just a little unfair, bro. It's unfair.
Yeah.
It's like me doing a joke off with one of these kids, like Masoom or something. Yeah, bloody bacha, yaar. And just because I'm slow and old now, and they can defeat me in battle, you don't do that.
Yeah.
That's just bullying. I hope I'm a little upset about that fight. Mike Tyson wanted to fight one of his contemporaries, like a little bit Roy Jones Jr. a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
That's okay, because it's that veteran category fighting each other.
Yeah.
Well, how can youth fight old? I mean, look at us as trying to lift weights in the gym and all that. I can't fight a 20-year-old if he's serious. Luckily, the 20-year-olds that come to Bombay Gym are like, I've been spitting a lot of late. I just feel that elections are around the corner.
Yeah.
You get that feeling immediately when you
Started
spit.
like chewing gutka or something.
Now, man, shitty happened in the middle. Yeah.
Alright. Next one comes from Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh.
What is the single most consequential mistake made in history?
Oh, what a question that is. I would suppose the Big Bang.
Wow.
I mean,
The
honestly,
birth of everything.
we could have all lived in peace if there was no freaking Big Bang in the start of humanity.
To go to job.
Yeah, really.
Money.
I mean, what am I going to say? Oh, the Christopher Columbus went the wrong way. Who cares? Yeah, about all those little things. Hammurabi's code. What about the code of Manu with the caste system? I mean, there's so many vulgar moments in history. The one after another, which is worse than the other.
Holocaust and
Yeah.
everything.
So no, I'm saying Big Bang. The Big Bang shouldn't have happened. We'd have all been fine. This question would have come out. This podcast wouldn't be there. I'm not here. You're not there. What a beautiful world.
Yeah, true.
And you could keep a chimp. Not really.
No, there won't be anything. No?
Yeah.
Right.
Also in Gujarati, we don't say chimp, we say simp.
Oh.
Simpanzi no naam શું છે? Simp.
Is that the origin of the word simp then?
No, the sir has to come. If there's no sir, I feel very unhappy.
No, simp.
Oh, you think?
Ah,
Well thought, beta.
Some foreigner
Now, leave the primates alone. Na. They are better versions of us. We all said and done.
Right. Next one comes from Saint Andrew. What's your earliest memory of the internet?
Well, all my friends in the 90s, early 90s, went to join this computer course. 6 of them. And I'm the only one who said no. And everybody said, no, we have to do this. Computer Point, it was called, I remember. And they all went to this place in Worli and they learned how to use a computer in the 9th or 10th standard.
We do the MSc, I think.
But it was not part of our curriculum.
Oh.
And I didn't want to do anything extra. I've never wanted to do anything extra. I'm the kind of guy who, if you tell me I have to cross the road to reach the other side, I'm like, why? We'll wait for someone to take us. It's like that. So I was always behind. So I'm always, anyway, I'm tech challenged and I don't like technology.
You had a personal computer?
No, not at that point. Nobody had a... Early 90s, in our group, nobody had personal computers. Somebody's father was a techie guy or elder brother. So it was coming from there a little bit. Then because of that guy, you know how porn spread? One guy had an elder brother. So they would have magazines and those magazines would come to us. So similarly like that, tech also spread. In fact, porn and tech spread even faster. However, I was not one of that. I was the last guy. Last guy to shave in my class. Last guy to touch anything. Last guy to get a mobile phone. I got a mobile phone at 43 or 44. One of those years. And then I gave up alcohol. It's a horrible thing, really.
So the next question comes from Bad Teacher. What's the most repeated question?
The most repeated, irritating question that I get.
Just the most repeated question.
What does he think I am? Socrates? How do I answer this question? This stupid question is worse than the most repeated question. But the questions that I get a lot of, which are irritating after some time, one is on bodybuilding and lifting weights, which irritate me. And secondly, I want to be VJ. And it's always without a VJ.
Even now?
Oh, God, you have no idea. I want to be VJ, I want to be actor, I want to be comedian in that space. The same thing. If they meet you and they sort of know you and they say, because you don't know what to do after that. Because I keep telling them, I'm trying to help my own career. I'm not in a position to, I'm not Shah Rukh. I can't start a IPL team for you and then you can perform there or whatever. So those questions are very irritating. And the other questions I hate are the redundant questions like what's up? What's going on? Bro, long time. Long time is the worst because you've seen him 12 minutes ago. And you'll say, hey bro, you've not been coming? I'm like, what? I hate those because they're really not paying attention to the world. And then they take it out on us. And I have this other problem is that every word matters to me because I'm so petty. So every word you say, like if you say fuck off, even the off is important. If you just say one word, I'm like, why don't you complete the phrase? It drives me nuts. You do it a lot, Rishi.
Come on. Right. Next one comes from Dizzy. What's a slang term you are probably too old or too young to use, but still do?
Too old? Butchered. Yeah, my generation used to say you're butchered, like you're screwed. And we used to say it all the time.
Hmm.
And now I have to be very careful if it comes out of my mouth. Everybody's like, what? That's not woke. What's butchered? Yeah. Are you anti-cow? It's all over the place. So we used to say butchered a lot.
Hmm.
I was trying to tell my daughter the other day because my daughter's now become just eyebrows, no, with me. Everything I say is like,
Whatevs.
yeah,
She did
what
once.
else? Yeah, really. Really, it's very embarrassing. Yeah, but the modern day expressions of these half words and all like LMO or F and all these acronyms and all that.
Lamao,
Yeah, yeah, and it's just. And the thing is, my age group does it a lot. In fact, they seem to want to do it more. So if you do any conversations with them, I'm looking at Niv, that's why I look, they're not mad. They just want to pretend they're teenagers. So they have to put in their acronyms. I'm like, behave your age at some point, brother. I'm saying this. But behave your age.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It sounds okay from a 17-year-old daughter of mine, but it sounds ridiculous from a 60-year-old. On May 19th, Kunal Vijayekar turned 60. Please, as a member of Hindustan, send...
Kunal Vijayekar Jayanti.
not only that, also ask him to retire, please. There's a limit. 60 is enough.
Next one comes from Carrie Winkle. What's a good example of honesty not always being the best policy?
Oh, all the time. My wife asked me, do you think I'm looking fat? I mean, are you going to really say fat? And what kind of moron says that? First, there's no answer to that question because you have no idea. When you see someone every day, you have no idea they're bigger or thinner. It's almost impossible to tell. And, so there's many... Honesty is a wrong thing. This concept of honesty is rubbish. It's really pointless because honesty and sensitivity rarely go together. And then people think, oh, I have to be honest. I'm going to die on that sword. So I'll be honest till I die. Hey, auntie, you're looking really old. I mean, you can't do that, bro. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But with me, a lot of people tell me, hey, you're not funny, you're ugly, you're old, you're stupid. And they think they're either being funny or honest. They are, but the point is it's hurtful. So don't do that. And don't do that on a public platform. Don't use an open mic to say that because that's really mean. Especially in front of 40,000 people or on a broadcast that goes all over. I'm talking to you, beer biceps.
Oh, third time I mentioned. Next one comes from Pale Ashes. What's the worst thing you have found on someone else's phone?
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, I have. I have found somebody having an affair by mistake. Well, I wasn't sure. But there was some really strange messages. And these heart emoticons and all. You can misread it. Sometimes people are familiar enough to send the heart thing and all. But I do find it funny. Not funny, but peculiar if it's coming from the other gender of the same age and there's not that sort of brother-sister relationship or whatever. It's okay between, 40 years of friendship and all that. But it's a bit odd. I've seen that kind of thing. But the worst are these people who put up their body pictures. Girls and men and women both.
Like before and after?
Well, it's a private pictures, and if the phone opens and that private picture, no, before and after what? Indians look the same.
No, the working out thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they have these really, I mean, I do it myself, but they shouldn't. You shouldn't be showing it to others. But I do it, Niv. I do it to see what I look like because I can't see my back, can't see my legs properly, and all that. So now, my wife doesn't encourage all this, so I've got to shoot them. I mean, you shoot it yourself, it's not easy.
Yeah.
You're trying to shoot a mirror and this and that. Yeah, it's very painful. Please help me if you're willing to shoot my
So you need a photographer.
with a towel,
Abhay sir.
wearing my hand towel. Abhay sir is waiting for Malaika's pictures. He doesn't want to shoot Cyrus's pictures. I mean, there's a limit to how much hash he can consume to get through the day. Yeah.
Last question comes from Green Chicken. What's a fun, nice way?
So we've reached a point in society where with a straight face you tell me the last question is coming from Green Chicken and nobody reacts because this is where we are in the world. And we think we are comedians. I mean, these jokers are out there with all kinds of names. 1.5 inches was somebody's name. What the hell?
No, come on, no.
I'm not lying. 1.5 inches. Send a message. I'm like, I can't now go beyond that. I want to deal with that first. How do you go beyond that to the question?
What's a fun, nice way to say no, we don't need to do this? When you run into someone you used to work with but never want to see again.
I give you the theatre version, which the great Sudhir Joshi taught us. Fantastic when you, especially if you're in theatre and then you have to support the theatre and you're going to watch somebody else's play and you didn't like it. So he had this lovely line which I've kept forever and I've trained everyone to use. I gave it to Gopal, my friend, because he does a lot of theatre and all that. And you don't want to be rude. So the line you have to say is, as expected.
Oh.
It's a beautiful line. See, it's a very neutral line actually, but it sounds positive. As expected. Actually, I think you're a terrible actor and as expected, whatever. So it's beautifully done. So similarly, when you're trying to say no, I think the best way to do it is without actually saying yes or no. Find the grey area thing. Like as the British have taught us, you stall. So if IVM says we have a guest coming, can you do it? I always tell Jennifer, maybe. Let me check. I'll get back to you. Let's try and figure. You do all these things, but you never commit. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. It's a science. And you feel good at the end of the day for letting people down. At least I do, because I remember once Veer Das's thing was there and they wanted to do it. And they said, we got Veer Das, very important and all. And I hedged and finally we didn't do it. And they were very upset. They said, you should have come. Now he's very busy. We won't get him for a long time. And I was like, moment I went out of the thing and I was like, yes, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Of course, we did get to record with him a little later.
Yeah,
so
later.
They can't really complain. But yeah. So I'm saying, don't say no because the ego comes into it. Now then people remember, bahut bada samajhta hai. Like that kind of thing. So no is again, the honesty question. Let's not get into no and yes. This all decisive people, unless you're running a war campaign, don't be too decisive. I'm okay with. Like, for example, Rishi, you decided to leave IBM. You should never have said, I'm going. You should have said, maybe I won't be here. So that you have the option on after June 10th. If the government conditions are applicable to you and nice, you can come back.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Will you be coming back?
We'll see.
Very good! Lesson learned. No yes or no. We'll see is perfect. Huh?
That's all the questions we have.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcasts Network. On Cyrus Says, actor Richa Chadda returns to talk to Cyrus. They chat about her new Netflix original series Hira Mandi, the treatment of artists and performers historically, and Richa shares insights of her production company's achievements, including an award-winning film at the Sundance Film Festival. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam dives deep into the world of investments with Hiren Vaib, director and CIO at Alchemy Capital Management. Listen in to gain valuable insights on equities, the Indian market outlook, AIF versus mutual funds, sustainable long-term investments, and a lot more. Folks, if you like our shows, spread the word, tell your friends, and don't forget to rate and review them wherever you're listening to them. Follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You'll also find all our shows on youtube.com/IVM Podcasts. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week, Omidyar Network India, IDFC First Bank, and ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund. Thank you for making this possible.